In Second Peter chapter 2, that entire chapter is about false teachers who would lead people astray, lead people away from the way of Jesus, from the will of God. And down about verse 17, he's describing them as waterless springs. They speak bombastic nonsense with licentious desires of the flesh. They entice people. And then our verse for the day is verse 19. Again, now thinking about these false teachers with their bombastic nonsense and licentious desires, they promise them freedom, but they themselves are slaves of corruption. For people are slaves to whatever masters them. Now, I want to ask you a question that may take you some reflection. It'd take more than just a minute or two. But if you had to answer the question, if I was asking you or someone you knew and trusted was asking you, what would you say, if anything, has mastered you? That's not an easy question to answer, is it? And Peter says people are slaves to whatever masters them. Now, we think of masters in a couple different ways. Some people think of master and they think of it as someone who has enslaved people, who they are keeping down and denying freedom. A master is also a term that is sometimes used in some fields to denote someone who has achieved a high level of progress, if you will. So someone who is a master plumber has achieved, they're at the height of their profession. They know how to do everything that a plumber would need to do. Sometimes I think of the original Star Wars movie where Darth Vader is confronting Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he says to him, "When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master." And Obi-Wan replies, "Only a master of evil, Darth." And in a sense, that's what Peter is talking about here. People are slaves to whatever masters them. And if that is corruption, if it's greed, if it's bombastic nonsense or licentious desires of the flesh, whatever has mastered us, we are slaves to. And one of the ways you can kind of cue into, well, what is really important to me, is to think about your emotions. What makes you angry? Who makes you angry? When do you get angry? And when you do get angry, who notices it first? Do you notice your emotions rising within you before other people know that you're angry or upset? Or do other people know before you do that you're angry or upset or hurt or disappointed? It's one of the things we need to do as we grow into the fullness of Christ is we have to know ourselves well. And we want to make sure that we are not subject, we are not mastered by anything that is not of God or in the will of God. We want to be mastered by the way of Jesus. So I just encourage you to take a few moments to think about that and to think how you would answer, what, if anything, has mastered me? And one of the old hymns of the church that we sing at the 10 o'clock service sometimes is titled, "O Master, let me walk with thee in lowly paths of service free." I pray that you would have no other master than Jesus.